Commanders, and welcome back to another Warpath video. My name is Eagle, and in this video we're going to be talking about a very important topic, which is advanced disassembly. As we know, modern units have joined the game a while ago, and you probably realized by this point that upgrading modern units or your legacy units to modern units is a massive investment, and that is namely you will need a lot of these things, which are the prototypes for each camp in order to get these units from one level to another. Now sometimes if you're not on a test server like I am right now and have 1 billion of these, then you would need another source that's actually reliable other than events or packages that some players don't actually have the privilege to buy or just get at any point in time. Therefore, specifically this video, we're going to be talking about another way where you can actually obtain these prototypes in order to get your units to the next level, and that is mainly called advanced disassembly. You probably have seen this section over here added after the modern units have been added as well to the game, and this section mainly allows you to deassemble your legacy units that have reached 7 stars all the way to 7.2 stars, which are mainly these 3 levels over here. This one and this one and this one. These 3 levels, as you can see, each one of them will allow you to actually get a certain number of prototype pieces of that specific camp that you are disassembling that unit from. Now you have to be extremely careful over here because disassembling a unit is not always a smart idea, and I will tell you right in this video exactly which unit should you disassemble at which star level and when should you actually do that, at like what point in the game where you should think about advanced disassembling a unit. Because when you're losing one of these units, that means you're losing the opportunity of gaining a modern unit out of this specific unit over here. So that is definitely questionable because it has taken you so much time to collect and to get this unit all the way to 7.2 stars in order for it to actually be a modern unit in the first place. So why the hell would you need to disassemble it? Well, there's multiple reasons for that. The first reason is once you have a sufficient let's say army that you have or a sufficient roster, let's say that you want to focus on super heavy tanks and, for example, infantry and those fighter planes over here. Now you have 3 of these, and that is pretty good, and when you want to get them to the next level in terms of modern units, you would be facing a wall where you would have to spend so much resources on these units to get them to the next level. And trust me, if you have already have multiple of these units, you already know how hard it is to get these units from like this level over here all the way to being maxed out in terms of modern units, and that takes so much effort and so much time. And this is basically the amount of prototype pieces that you will need, which is a hell lot. Now these prototype pieces are obviously needed for only 1 unit, and when you need that for like multiple units, let's say you have like 2 Vanguards or 2 Liberty units and you want to get them to the next level, then that means you would need double those prototype pieces because these ones over here are only just for 1 unit. So that's, for example, 18 over here, and then you add that up to this, and it will add up to a very big total of more than 100 plus, or more than even 150 of these prototypes for only 1 unit to get it to the max level, let alone the resources that you're going to be spending on that unit. So it's very important at this point in the game, once you reach that you have, like, for example, 6 or 7 units that have reached 7 or 7.2, between 7 and 7.2 stars, you really need to start thinking of which of these units you want to prioritize and get to the next level. And that is because if you don't do that, you will be overrun in the battlefield, and the reason for that is because 7-star units are definitely going to be overrun by modern units, especially if they're strong enough and they're upgraded enough. Having that said, it is very important to know exactly which units you want to focus on at which stage in the game, depending on your playstyle. Which means that, for example, if you are more of a field fighting person, then that would mean that you would be focusing on light tanks, main battle tanks, and maybe fighter planes. Those 3 are probably one of the top field fighting units in the game right now, and that's why you would definitely need to focus on these. And of course, you would definitely need to get a helicopter as well in there in order to actually get that mobility and basically damage output out there as well. So it's very important to focus on multiple units at the same time, but also specialization in 2 or 3 units is also very important in order to keep up with the big spenders within the game right now, because it's not easy to do that. If you are focusing on 5+ units at the same time and you're not spending any money on the game, then that's going to be a really hard task to do, especially if 2 or 3 of these units are of the same camp. Then it's almost impossible to get enough prototypes for this specific camp in order to get them to the next level. So if you get what I'm saying over here, then this is basically how you do that. You do advanced disassembly. However, I don't recommend doing it for 7.2 stars, but I would definitely recommend doing it for 7 stars, and if you are desperate enough, then do it for 7.1, but that's not highly recommended. So the reason why I would go for 7 stars, even though these, by the way, the amount that you're getting is exactly the same, because for example, you're getting 4 over here at 7 stars, and for 7.1 you're getting 12, and usually to get a unit from 7 to 7.1, you would need 3 of those, so that means 3 multiplied by 4, that's 12. But it's not actually true, and the reason why it's not true is because that is putting the assumption that you already have multiple 3 or 7 stars unit just laying around there all the time. But in truth, what's happening is that when you want to jump from 7 to 7.1, that means you should have 3 of those 7s, and in order to get 3 of those 7s, the amount of units that you're spending is way higher than what you would be getting if you were just taking them all just using 1 7, if you know what I mean. So basically, it will take you more resources in order to get 3 7s ready rather than 1 7 at a time. And basically what that means is if you have 3 of those, then just immediately go for Vanguard prototypes. And you just do them one at a time instead of just waiting all the way to collect 3 of those at the same time. So whenever you have a 7-star unit ready, just immediately go ahead and disassemble it. If that was your course basically of action in the first place. If that wasn't your course of action, then I would definitely wait on these units until I have enough resources, maybe in a month or 2, in order to start building up other units as well. Because remember, when you're doing advanced assembly, you're losing that unit completely, and that is something to think about for the future if you're especially playing this game for the long run, because eventually you're probably going to be needing a super heavy in your arsenal when it comes to modern units, because it's a very important unit for base attacking and sometimes field fighting as well, or even defense. So in terms of this unit, it's a very valuable unit. So what you could do is actually vault it for now, and when you have the resources, you can upgrade it later on. For example, if you're focusing on a main battle tank at that time, or even something else from that specific camp as well. So that's always a choice out there. But if you were to choose advanced assembly, like myself as well, because I already have some excess units that I want to exchange. For instance, I don't want to focus on ATGs just for the reason, even though they're actually very good. And I don't want technically to have Martyr's Watch artillery as well. So I could definitely disassemble that and focus more on other units that I'm currently way better fitting to my play style that I currently have as well. So this guide is just basically to tell you when you should disassemble, how does it work, and when do I recommend you do that as well, and which unit start you should do. I hope this video did help you out with making some decisions when it comes to your unit types, and if it did, maybe throw us a like down there and comment with what are your favorite roasters so far and what units are you currently running in your roster. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll definitely see you on the next video. Bye bye.